Long time ago in ancient Japan, a boy named Cake, supposedly created by demons, fled the forest and was found by Lord Asano. The man decided to adopt because I saw great potential in the boy and allowed him to live among the. Despite being a big taboo, Kai approached the Lord's daughter, Mika, and eventually, they started to love each other more, showed their affections in secret. Soon the boy grew up and became a very capable man, who accompanied his lord on hunting expeditions. He advised the Lord's right arm today to stay and hold the prey because you notice something wrong with the creature. But the conductor refuses to listen. Someone from such a low position and orders the men to advance. Suddenly, a giant beast advances towards the people and knocks the Lord to the ground. West sees this and orders everyone to kill the monster. Immediately, the creature rages and destroys everything in sight. As the batsmen closely chase her, men attack the creature with FLIs and try to surround it. But nothing seems to work, as the monster begins to cast the shields like cloth dolls, throwing those of his horses. After causing enormous damage to the creature tries to escape by running into the forest, but a named Yasuno chases her and falls. Also follows closely. The captain tries to attack the monster with his sword, but is knocked off his horse in the process. The giant creature turns and sees the soldier on the ground and advances furiously against him, falls and sees this and runs towards the sword. He takes the blade and stabs the monster's heart, using the impulse of the creature that eventually kills her. As the monster falls to the ground, falls and takes the creature's blade and offers it back to the. But Asuno is offended by the act, having been saved by a mestizo who has no position. Lord Asano arrives and sees the creature defeated, thinking it was the captain who killed the beast. He gives and I take the honor of being his champion in the tournament, approaching and shouting on behalf of the country, believing that fortune is on your side. As the men begin to leave, West realizes that the hands of Falls are full of blood, suggesting that he is the true slayer of the beast. Kai also notices something strange when seeing a white with different colored eyes and speculates that the attack may have been orchestrated by a superior power. It turns out that man's speculations are correct, for the fox starts to turn back into a witch who calls himself Mizuki and informs his lord Kira that Asano is still alive. In Kwanto Iso, Lady Mika grew up and became a beautiful woman. She quickly goes to meet the group, returning after hearing that they were wounded in the hunting expedition. After see that your father is fine. The woman quickly asks about the wounded men, but the years his daughter only cares about Kai's well-being. The woman quickly goes to the isolated where he falls and sees that the man you love is wounded from the fight. She tries to help Falls with her wounds, but the man thanks her and quickly says she go back to her father, for a woman cannot be seen with someone so low. The night, Shogun arrives at Aku Farm for the festival that is about to take place. Kaya watches from afar and notices among the concubines of Lord and recognizes your eye color, being the same as the fox you saw earlier. He immediately goes to today's residence and warns the captain about the witch, who can endanger the life of the Lord. But the captain ignores Kai's warnings as before, because it does not respect the opinions of someone by demons. The next day, Lord Kira comes to the kingdom and greets the years, praising the beauty of the tribe. But their relationship quickly becomes strained when man disrespects you, showing rude behavior when starting to with Lady Mika. They sit together and start watching the tournament, while Kira introduces her champion to the fight. The huge warrior golem starts walking towards the stadium. He stands out above all, while the audience watches and wonders with the impressive size of the fighter. At the same time, Asuno sees the witch in her animal form, victim of your magic. Falls runs towards the Nian, realizes that man can no longer scream to save your lord from doom. Fall puts on the armor and covers face to replace an registration at the tournament. After the two fighters bow before you, they draw their swords and prepare for combat. The giant Indian starts to attack Falls with a rage of blows and pushes the man back with incredible strength. They keep fighting, and Falls manages to hit several blows on the opponent, but eventually breaks a giant armor and is pushed out of the ring, losing his helmet in the process and revealing your true identity. Shogun interrupts the fight and walks towards the ring just to see it fall, a half-breed that is clearly not a hybrid. He immediately orders the man to be killed, but Mika rushes to protect her beloved, while Lord Asano begs the Shogun to save Kai's life. The ruler walks away furious, and archery are forced to remove the armor from here and begin to spank I continuously for shaming your lord until man's. Realizing that Asano is disturbed by humiliations, Mizuki casts a spider using Kira's blood. She secretly goes to the room from the old at night in the poison, using the creature's shields, causing you to hallucinate and see his daughter being dishonored by Kira. "Oh Lord." Asana invades his rival's room and cuts him with, but quickly, the guards come in and stop him from killing Mr. Kira as a result of attacking the guest inside your own palace. Chogun sentences Asano to death, but let him keep his honor, committing sepulture, while the Lord's daughter watches in silence the ceremony. His Leo finishes his lord, honoring him of death. After the death of Asano, Chogun announces that Mika will marry Kira to appease conflicts between the two houses, but grant her a year to mourn your father's death. Or ruler also forbids today and its men to avenge themselves, telling them they are now bad without masters, leaving your destiny in the hands of the Lord. Count immediately expels the criminals from the Akko tribe and takes Falls as a hostage and while Mika watches in despair. He then imprisons today and throws him in the trying cells. To break man's will to take revenge. 1 year later, Kira's men take the corpse out of the prison underground and play it in the streets, while his wife and son welcome him. Immediately, he finds out that everyone left Australia and who Falls was sold into slavery. West promptly tells your child to prepare the horses and horseback riding day until they reach the Dutch islands. He enters the fighting arena who Falls is fighting a monstrous opponent that tries to kill him with every blow. However, Falls quickly takes advantage and cuts the monster in the belly before beheading the creature and winning the fight. West tries to talk to Kai, but is immediately attacked, for Kaio blames for the death of Asano. The fight goes on. To the west, mention that Lady Mika is being held against your will, and the two begin to fight the masters of slaves, eventually managing to escape the area together, and on the streets, cause a fire to delay the pursuers. In the morning, already far from the place of before, today explains to Kai that Lady Mika will be forced to marry Kira in a week, and he plans to join all the Ronin to save the girl and avenge her lord's death. They ride to a secret place, where all your ancient companions gather. And he explains who plans to murder his lord's murderer when Kira leaves the castle to receive the blessings of your ancestors for the upcoming wedding. He tells the recipients to find out the exact date Kira plans to leave in order to organize the mission properly. While he goes with the rest of the men to gather weapons available, they reach the nearby town just to find out which is strongly guarded by Kira men. The knight falls and says that there is another way to get weapons for the criminals, but the mission requires they venture into the forest of demons known as I Have. With no other choice, the Ronin ride to the forest I Have, and Kaios leads before a huge Buddha statue. He tells everyone to wait outside, except West, who accompanies him to find the demons. They enter the cave, and Falls and tells the captain that he must not unsheath his sword, no matter what happens inside. The two see numerous monks kneeling in front of the Buddha statue, and Falls tells Wish to wait for him there. Falls reaches a smaller cave where a blade is in the center of the room, while another demon approaches him, welcoming your return. The creature questions why Fall is helping those men out there when they treated him so badly before. However, Kai replies that they are good men and that your purpose is fair. The demon continues to demoralize man, stating that the world offers you nothing and that he will never be with Micah in this life. But Kai accepts this humbly and swears to find her in the next life. Seeing man's determination, the demon tells him to get the sword if he can, and they both fly towards the blade using their magic. But Kai manages to retrieve the katana before Master and wins the battle between the two. At the same time, the Axis turns and sees that his men have entered despite your orders. And Asuno unsheathes his sword when he sees the demons on the ground. The creatures start to attack this and kill them one by one using your magic. That makes them impossible to reach. West sees this and is tempted to unsheath his sword, but remember what Kylie said before and manages to contain its actions until all the kids are killed. It turns out that everything was a Western hallucination as part of the test that Tengu put on it, and numerous katanas appear, indicating that he won the Battle of Will. They leave the forest after getting their new weapons and reach the rock where the Ronins are hidden today. Is informed by one of your companions who discover that Kira is going out to the shrines at night. What makes you gather all your men to murder the Lord? They slowly approach the hay-filled area and see the silhouette of their target in front of a shrine, guarded only by two men. The person turns, and the captain is shocked to see that he is the witch that attacks them with fire and burns the entire area on fire. Men are ambushed by countless arrows and killed one by one. The giant golem also appears and massacres the Ronins as they run to save their lives. The group returns to the Netherlands defeated, and West desperately questions what to do next. as he falls and tries to reassure his comrade, saying not all is lost, and that they still have the guns and the element of surprise. The next morning, Kaio sees a group of wedding artists heading towards Kira Castle, and realizes the opportunity that presents itself before them. They stop the artists and pick up theirs, planning to disguise themselves to approach and murder the Lord. At night, criminals can avoid detection of Kira's guards and enter the cell without suspicion. Lord Kira takes Micah's law and finally perform the wedding and gain control of Ark. In the process, they sit in front of the stage and begin to enjoy the show, while they show up to distract the soldiers. The Ronins take this opportunity to catch their weapons and invade the area, searching for and killing the guards undetected. Boichi continues to perform on stage, but little by little he goes to Lord Kira, pick up the hidden blade, and advance to the attack. But his blow is stopped by an arrow of the guards, and people run in a panic when they see the sinister killers. The Ronin start attacking the soldiers, and Kira flees, taking Mika into the castle, escaping from the flying rocks. The giant thud goes against the Ronin, but is surprised by the explosive trap that they prepared. Then the enemy breaks apart with the explosion. Kai starts Kira alongside Wish, as they cut several soldiers, trying to stop the two men. Mika manages to escape his capitulator and run in the opposite direction, while Kira abandons everything to save his own life. After eliminating the guards, West runs towards the Lord. As it falls, it will save the princess. Mika leaves the building and enters the courtyard. When he finally sees his beloved, and they run to each other and hug each other. Your reunion is interrupted when a ghostly kimono flies in front of them and falls to the ground, turning into the witch who plans to kill them both. The woman approaches the couple and begins to transform again, revealing its true form that resembles a massive dragon that levitates in the air. The attacking creature falls furiously, but man is able to defend himself and fight making back. The monster temporarily retreat. Falls tells Micah to hide behind the walls as he prepares to fight the dragon until death. At the same time, West meets Kira in next room and starts attacking the man through the walls. He enters the room and continues to hit the enemy, pushing the on the ground as Kira desperately tries to defend herself. West and Kira and both walk through the walls. He throws the gentleman to the ground and continues eventually disabling and grabbing him. The behind, West takes the blade that your lord used to make your tomb come true and look Kira in the heart. He then cuts off the man's head with a single blow and takes it out, showing his comrades that they won the battle. Soldiers surrender at the sight of Kira's death, and the Ronins look at their leader, realizing finally avenge their lord's honor. In Quanto Iso, Falls continues to fight the dragon, hitting your face, making the monster throw concrete pillars at the man. In frustration, the creature then summons a torrent of flames towards Kai, but the warrior shares the elements with the blade, making dragon magic. Kaio starts attacking the monster offensively, cutting or continuously, forcing the creature to retreat to a corner. He tries to stab the dragon, but he grabs the man's katana and throws it away from the sword. The monster then begins to target Micah as he roars furiously at the woman. But Kai manages to use the magic and take the blade off the floor. He quickly jumps into the air and stabs the creature, causing it to fall to the floor and scream in pain. The monster then starts to transform back into Mizuki, and she dies then, taking his last breath. The Ronins leave the castle, while enemy soldiers kneel before them and drop their weapons in submission. This come back for the water and finally manage to honor their lord in front of his grave, offering the dagger who killed Kira as a tribute. Chogun is notified of Kira's death and sentences all Ronins to death, but allows them to regain their honor by committing sepulture, just like your lord, for they showed honor by avenging their master. Following the path of the Butsudo, Kai and Mika have a moment alone, and both express their feelings for each other. Falls, knowing of his future to come, promises that in the next life will do anything to find his beloved. Their farewell is scheduled by a single romantic kiss. Mika watches with sadness as she falls, and the other men prepare to go through the ritual, crying when I know who will never see his beloved again in this life. Days later, she looks from the bridge to the horizon, remembering the promise he of looking for her next life and be together forever.